You're listening to Australia's #1 tech podcast. Every week, join hosts Brad and Jason here on the Tech Webcast. Download our iPhone app, follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and visit us online at techwebcast.info. Here are your hosts, Brad and Jason.
Welcome to episode 170 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on Saturday, the 14th of January 2012. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7. Today's hosts are Brad, Jason, Steve, Kacey, and Aaron. Good afternoon, Brad.
Hey, Jason, how are you, mate?
Dude, really good.
That's the way, mate. What's news?
Yep. Well, I started getting back into exercising again this week, so my legs are hating the hell out of me.
Good on you.
I'm doing a couch to 5K, so hopefully in a few weeks I'll be running 5 kilometres a day, which will be great.
Sweet.
And then today I married... what happens is you download a podcast by this guy, Robert Ulray, and you play it through your headphones while you're running, and it's got music at faster beats when you're running and slower beats when you're walking, and you sort of do walk and then run and then walk and then run, and he coaches you along and tells you what to do when, which is good. And then nice. Today I married that up with the Runkeeper application, which records by the GPS where you're going, how fast you're going at each time, and tells you in the headphones you've just gone 2 kilometres, it's taking you this long, and gives you average and that sort of thing. So it's really good. Add those two together and you get a really good running system.
Oh, nice. Good stuff.
So get you really fit. So you start off 3 days a week with a 1 day break in between. So I just do the Xbox Your Shape Fitness Evolved program. Yep. And it's got a fitness trainer on there, which is really good because the Connect watches what you're doing and tells you when you're screwing it up and how to do it properly. And so that's on my off days from the running. And then I'll throw in some bike riding with that. And also went back onto Light and Easy for food. So it's all nutritionally balanced and the right calories a day and that sort of thing. So,
good stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Looking really good and throwing a bit of technology into the weight loss stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, you got new, you upgraded your internet modem too, didn't you, the other day, last weekend? Yes,
I got that Billion 7800N.
Good
Very
stuff.
nice modem.
Yep.
And the thing I liked about it particularly is that it's ready for the fibre that we're going to get from NBN in the future.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool indeed.
I was having trouble trying to get my Xbox Live, as everyone knows from last week, working. Then I threw on an old modem that doesn't have Wi-Fi, and the Xbox Live worked perfectly, so it looks like it was my Netcom modem that was causing issues with Xbox Live after all of that, even though Live has been on and off during the week anyway. But that particular case was the modem, so I decided might as well go out and get something new.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You guys recommended the Billion 7800N.
Yep.
You did a video on that.
Yep, sure did, mate.
Unboxing.
Sure
and
did.
I saw in a few posts on Winepool or Whirlpool.
Yeah, Whirlpool, yeah.
that people were recommending that one as well. So
yeah. Jason from Tech AU recommends that one as well, and he's got one for Big Bon and stuff. It's a great device.
Yeah, it didn't speed up the connection at all, but I phoned up TPG and said, yo, what's going on? And they sent a guy out here and he had a look. He's like, man, your speeds are terrible. We're going to fix that. So I'll send Telstra out next week to fix up the line. You should be getting, instead of 4 megs per second, you should be getting about 10 or 11.
Nice.
So they
Good
came,
stuff.
tested the line and made sure I had all the equipment and everything done properly. And they said, yep, it's not your fault. It's definitely the line. So we'll get that fixed up. So Mega Speed, here he comes.
Yay, good on you, mate. All right, now we have a new host on each week. Jason, who is she?
Casey. But not the Sunshine Band.
No, it's not.
Oh, God. If I could tell you how many times I've gotten that throughout my life.
Can she sing?
I don't know. Can you sing? No, she can't sing.
There are plenty of YouTube videos of me in karaoke to prove it.
All right. Good to have you on each week. I hope you enjoy the show.
We got Aaron back.
We got Aaron from Oz Tech News. Hey, Aaron. How are you, man?
Hello. Yeah,
Hola.
I've been continuing my tradition of not exercising each week, and I can sing, so I guess I'm adding some differentiation to the panel, hey?
Yep.
It's okay. We won't ask you to sing, though.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
And we also got
if
Steve.
we could just get some auto-tune in here, I think, we'd all benefit.
Now, can Steve sing? Can you sing, Steve?
Me?
Yep.
Are you kidding? No. I'm going to check out of the chat rooms.
He can barely talk, let alone sing. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Kacey, tell us about us. Tell us about yourself. about you?
Well, I am currently in the IT department for Peregrine Semiconductor down in San Diego, California.
Cool.
I used to work for Geek Squad, and before that I was a web developer working out of my house for about 3 years before the whole U.S. economic downturn. Well, I guess it was more worldwide than just U.S., but, working for myself before that. And I like to dabble in iOS programming on the side and a little bit of Mac and Apple script programming. And, all
Cool.
around tech enthusiast.
I'm sure Jason got some questions about that.
I'll
Jason,
have to give you a code so you can download the Tech Webcast app.
Ah, yes. Very
Get that
good.
on your iPhone 4S, is it?
Of course.
Of course.
yeah, of course.
And iPad?
Of course.
Ah, good. Brad will get
Just
you to
keep
recommend-
naming Apple products. you
yeah,
know.
she's got
It's
iMac,
right
she's got the
through
iMac and that sort of thing.
I got Apple TV. I've got
Wow.
various airports.
Wow.
It's a veritable Apple store in my house right
oh
now.
my God, that's
You
crazy.
could start a museum.
Oh, I do, and I have old ones too. I just uncovered at my work and deep in storage. I found an old Macintosh SE, one of the older ones with a hard drive, as opposed to floppies only. So I cleaned that up, and it actually boots and runs. It's pretty nice. So I think I might just start like a little museum in my house.
Yeah, we'd like to get some photos.
Yeah, totally.
Good
And
stuff.
UCAN has website?
I do. My personal portfolio, which is sadly not as updated as it should be, is Kacey Coughlin, spelled Coughlin.com. I'm all over Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus as well. And I'm in the midst of starting working on getting up a Mac OS tips blog as well. So,
What have you developed so far for iOS? Anything in the store?
nothing exciting. Your flashlight apps and like flashcard games, a portfolio app, little things like that. Kind of exercises mainly, just working up towards getting used to the environment. Cocoa and Objective-C is really kind of an entirely different language. At least that's what I've found. A lot of the web languages and even OS languages tend to have a lot of similarities. Objective-C and Cocoa seem to just be like way out there in far left field.
Yeah, I know what that is. So you're just doing Xcode then?
Yeah, running Xcode. It's a really nice environment. I really like how it's set up and the tools that they give you for putting together, from the interface to the back-end coding to even designing the little icons for the screen and the package that you even download. Apple really has a nice setup for all of that.
Yeah, that's why it got a bit too complex though and overbearing for me, so I switched to the Corona SDK from Ansgar and do it all in Lua now. So our app is written in Lua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did very, very, very little Lua. What was it, 2 years ago? But yeah.
And you can download it for free too, which is nice. They used to charge for that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Steve, Paul Terry Wallace, you know him, Steve? Paul Terry Wallace, you know him?
Oh, not offhand.
Now, check out that website there, mate, for the Android, for the TV. Have you seen that web link before, mate?
Oh, okay. Let me bring it up real quick.
Aaron, have you found any cool news during the week, mate? You want to have a quick word about?
Yeah, well, gosh, CES happened this week.
Yeah, CES, that's all over.
It's not like there was a shortage.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of that there.
There's plenty of stuff. Gosh, have you seen how much articles The Verge have been posting this week?
I have.
Yeah,
They've been doing
crazy.
about 50 to 60 articles a day.
They're
through
really
CES.
coming up as a fierce competitor to all the tech blogs. I used to be primarily Engadget, checking every morning, and then TUAW, but The Verge has really become kind of my main morning, website to check news and everything.
Yeah,
They're really
yeah.
on top of it.
It's funny though how you get like these tech blogs like The Verge and Engadget. They've literally written an article about every single product at CES, even the crap ones. And I would say that the big news of this week was that CES was crap. I'm just going to put it out there. It really was crap. Business Insider ran an article just basically saying that it was just filled to the brim with cheap shit from China, basically.
I think because you got all these main manufacturers like pulling out, like you got Microsoft, Apple, and a lot of them now release their products, instead of waiting and releasing it at CES, they just, do it, another time now. So.
Yeah,
right. I mean, if they're big enough, it's going to be way more beneficial to them to just have their own little news announcement, and then they can just dominate the news for about a day or 2 days. Whereas in CES, in a big show, you have a ton of companies and developers, and whether you have a big announcement or small announcement, you can easily get just swallowed up in the swamp of news that's going on. So if you break away from the pack, then obviously that's going to help you in the long run.
Definitely. I think there was definitely some good products that came out of CES, and I'll come back to that in a sec. But I think the two main themes that came out of this week is that, last year at CES, I think that everyone really decided that the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in February has really become a more important show than CES now, because and I think this year just really validated it. Because what you can see now is that every company with smartphones, they were very reserved with with showing anything that they had at CES, because you just know that they're holding back to really go gung-ho and show all their new phones next month at MWC. So it's really because mobile's become the most exciting part about computing right now, that show in Barcelona has really become the biggest show of the year now instead of CES. And so this whole shift has happened. So really what you're seeing at CES is like all the computer stuff is still there, and people are sort of kicking the tires. They're looking at it stuff and they're going, yeah, that's pretty fun. That's cool TV, your little Chromebox from Samsung and all that sort of stuff. But definitely that stuff isn't nearly exciting as mobile, and everyone except for Nokia are waiting until next month to really make their big announcements. So that's sort of what I sort of observed, and I think that tectonic shift has really sort of officially happened now, and that's why it's smart of Microsoft to sort of bail out at this time, because it's just not worth them spending the millions of dollars on that appearance at CES for a show that's not even the most important show of the year anymore.
I think people are afraid, manufacturers are afraid to release it until it's ready, until they're actually going to put it on market, because if they show it at CES and then put it out a couple of months after, they're afraid some of these other companies are going to see that and try to my ideas off of it as well. I think
the iPad.
CES. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the iPad killed the CES, because the thing is now Apple created a time slot of the end of January to announce the iPad. And so now, like, what we have is that CES has held its time slot each year at the first week of January, and so all the tablet manufacturers now are basically like just loathing the fact that they're announcing their tablet devices at CES, and then a couple of weeks later, Apple go bam, iPad 3, and just everything is dead. To
Apple's had those scheduled announcements for years. I mean, it's like clockwork, where end of January, which has always been traditionally Macworld. So, I mean, they've always been making that kind of big announcement at the end of January, but even now that they're not at Macworld, they still make a competing announcement, which is usually a small, processor upgrade to the Mac Pro line, and then a future update for the iPad, and it won't really be released for maybe another couple months. And then June you have your iPhones, August, September you have your iMacs and iPods, and then usually October you'll have, depending on the year, OS update and a Pro and Mini update. So I mean, they've always had that kind of calendar. I think more than iPad, because iPad was kind of the looming threat a few years ago at CES, but I think even more so now this year at CES, it was really more about TVs and smart TVs, and so really the looming threat and kind of the elephant in the room was this rumored Apple TV, not the little hockey puck Apple TV, but a full-blown Apple TV built in with the display and everything. And even though it's just a rumor, much like the iPad was years ago, people are competing against it as if it's an actual physical product on the market right now.
Yeah. So it's just that the timing of CES is lousy now. There needs to be a really big trade show mid-year that isn't E3, like something that's about gadgets and that sort of stuff. But that's sort of awkwardly timed as well, because manufacturers are traditionally liked having this big trade show at the very beginning of the year, sort of say, here's what we're planning to do throughout the year, like give like a yearly overview of what they're planning to do. But yeah, like see, tablets are the biggest market now, and they no one wants to be announcing a tablet right before Apple's about to announce theirs, because they want to be able to announce something straight afterwards to be able to say, oh, well, Apple did this, well, we just did this and it's better. But they're competing against something that they can't see, so that's what's made it hard. That's why at least MWC, in February, a whole pile of phones have been introduced to the market months and months and months before the next iPhone. So that gives manufacturers a good window to promote phones for a while in the market before the iPhone tries to blow them away. So that's probably the biggest thing. And yeah, and like you said, Casey, with the televisions as well. I mean, look at that Apple TV will come out at the end of this year, and then at least like with the CES, they'll be able to sort of go, well, the Apple TV just come out in November. It's January. Look at the TVs we've got. They can advertise afterwards. And I think that's what everyone's partial to do now. So, like, everyone knew that the iPad was coming into 2010, beginning of 2010, for a long time. But everyone was just holding back because they want to wait until Apple do what they do and then be able to try to blast them out of the water afterwards. And
but then it's already too late. When the Zoom and the Playbook came out, it felt like a century later. It was way too late after the fact.
Microsoft's strategy has always been to do that. Sit back, wait for someone else to do something, spend the money educating the market, and then come out with their carbon copy that's like 80% as good and a bit cheaper. And then they always try to fill in that last 20% with some sort of updates and fixes and stuff. And by version 4 or 5, it's industry accepted, and like that strategy has always worked in the past, but not now, because Apple own the supply chain. That's what's really helped them kill everybody else. So it was really interesting this year to really sort of see, wow, CES is largely dead. People are sort of bringing out just stuff, and they're hesitant. They're not bringing out their best stuff anymore. It's not that annual showcase where they say, look what we got throughout the year. They're actually a bit reserved. So yeah, televisions. There's a lot of vaporware there. It's basically a good summary of saying what I'm saying. So yeah, it was really dull. But look, there was definitely some good stuff. Lenovo had this Ultrabook that was really, really good. It looked smart, and it looks like it's going to be cheap. And I really liked Samsung's. No, it wasn't Samsung's. I can't remember which manufacturer it was. There was a manufacturer who had an Ultrabook, and it had this bit that raised out of the bottom, so it's like a big thick stand. And that part that came out of the bottom had all the ports at the back, for like monitor, USB, and all sort of stuff. So you didn't have any of these ports down the left and right of the actual device, because they look sort of ugly. And I thought that was really smart. I'll look that up when someone else is talking which manufacturer that was. But I thought that was probably the highlight for me. Other than that, wasn't really impressed.
Well, what do you think about, Aaron, with the supposedly Lenovo came out with an all-in-one desktop?
Yeah,
it's like a 7-inch screen that kind of folds all the way down to the table, which interestingly enough, Apple patented a couple of years earlier, but I don't know if...
we'll probably see that fight, sprout up in a couple of years. But yeah, I would say that their Ultrabook, the Yoga, is, both really good ideas. I don't know how well they're going to work in actual practice, because much like the HP and Dell all-in-ones with the touch interface, people, I'm one of them, definitely. People love the all-in-ones, how they're just, literally all-in-one. You've got everything. You don't have to go buy a ton of accessories. They come with the wireless keyboard and mouse and everything. But the touch interface is kind of an afterthought. And a lot of people that I know that have them, have them just for their kind of space-saving capabilities, but not because they have the touch interface. It's always kind of like, oh yeah, and then there's this. So I mean, it's an awesome idea, and I really like how, it literally is like a mini Microsoft Surface, and you can play games and everything. But how that's going to relate into actual practice? Are people literally going to do that in their homes? Are they going to have dinner parties and then all gather around the Lenovo all-in-one and play Pong or air hockey?
Exactly. How does it fill a need? That's what you have to ask.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Same with that yoga laptop, where it folds all the way back into a tablet, and you have like the keyboard on the bottom backside.
Yeah.
Whereas, again, super awesome idea, and it looks really slick. But I mean, then you have, what was it, 13 or 14-inch tablet you're carrying around in your arms, and if you put it down on a table, that's keyboard side down. So we'll see how that actually plays out.
So Jason, what was your highlight of CES, mate? I'll give you mine in a minute. What's yours?
I haven't really seen anything that interested me that much, really.
What about TiVo?
As Aaron was saying, there's not a lot of exciting stuff. Well, TiVo's got stuff, but we're not going to see it.
No, that's just not fair on us, is it? They brought out a whole new software update, with the info guide and the TV guide, that sort of thing. And
yep, I give up on them.
Oh, it's same, mate.
I like my TiVo, but I'm not going to get excited by stuff I'm never going to see or never be able to use.
Yeah, I know. It's not fair. And also, Boxy Box was at CS too. Steve, did you check that out, mate? I showed you a link the other day to the USB
I don't think I
dongle.
did. I missed. Oh, wait a minute. I did. It was between. They had the two guys there. Yeah, I did see that.
Andrew and a couple other guys. Yeah. That's coming out very soon. I can't wait for that. That looks great, fantastic on TV, and you watch free to air TV and stuff with that. So that's pretty good. And what about you, Steve? What's your highlight of CS, mate? Anything?
It was just miscellaneous stuff. I can't even heard what Aaron mentioned that CS didn't seem.
There was some cool TVs there, though, wasn't there? I've seen pretty
some
great.
of the TV stuff was kind of interesting because they're trying to integrate the internet, stuff again.
Definitely. All right, well, Jason, we'll jump into some tech news, mate, and
Yeah. An angry crowd shouted and threw eggs at Apple's Beijing flagship store after it failed to open on schedule Friday to sell the popular new iPhone 4S model. Hundreds of people waited overnight in freezing weather for the sale at the Apple store in the Chinese capital Santalun district. Some said they were paid to wait by merchants who planned to resell the popular phones. The crowd erupted in anger after the shop failed to open on schedule at 7 a.m. Some people threw eggs and shouted at employees through shop windows. Police cleared the area, and employees later posted a sign in the window saying the iPhone 4S was out of stock. The area was sealed off with police tape at mid-morning. Apple said it would stop selling its latest iPhone in its retail stores in Beijing and Shanghai to ensure the safety of its customers and employees. The demand for iPhone 4S has been incredible, and our stores in China have already sold out, an Apple spokeswoman said. Unfortunately, we were unable to open our store at Santalun due to the large crowd, and to ensure the safety of our customers and our employees, iPhones will not be available in our retail stores in Beijing and Shanghai for the time being. A few companies want to replace the crude vibration motors in today's phones and tablets with something that provides a much wider range of sensations, allowing you to feel a rumble of a Harley or the reverberation of a shotgun blast. The new technology can even let you feel the outlines of a button on the screen. At the International Consumer Electronics Show, the gigantic gadget conclave in Las Vegas last week, a company called Artificial Muscle demonstrated how it can make mobile devices shake and rattle with great realism, employing a technology that uses plastics that function like muscles. The company showed off an iPhone it had modified by placing one of its ViviTouch motors inside. The phone shook as it ran a simple ball rolling game. The plastic muscle provided the feeling not just of the ball hitting the walls of a maze, but of the slight vibration it made while rolling freely across the floor. When it was used for typing, the phone gave a buzzing sensation that confirmed each press of the virtual keys. In another demonstration, the ViviTouch motor shook a modified Xbox controller to allow the user to feel what it's like to hold a beating heart. In another instance, it let the user experience the signature rumble of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle starting up.
Well.
And Baruch's startup Roamz launched in October last year after receiving a $3.5 million US investment, which is now using to fund an offshore expansion. The iPhone app has had 50,000 downloads, and Baruch said an Android version would be released eventually. Roamz helps cut through the clutter of social media by presenting users with posts from people in their immediate geographical area It's popular with travellers who use it to check the local buzz and find interesting places to go. It pulls in content from services including Facebook, Twitter, and Foursquare. Baruch was manning a Roamz stand at the Digital Experience side event at the Consumer Electronics Show, where he showed the version 2 of his app due for release in the first quarter of this year. So there's a couple of interesting things from CES.
Very interesting indeed. Roamz is still a good app. I don't really use Roamz that much anymore, but talking of apps, Kacey, have you been checking any cool apps on your iPhone? I've got a couple you want to talk about.
Yeah, much to you guys' earlier comments about starting the new year off a little bit more fit. I've been doing the same as I think most people do at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
I found this app called My Net Diary.
Okay.
I went ahead and they have a pro version and a free version. I went ahead and bought the pro version. You can enter in, your weight, but more importantly, you can manually enter in everything. They gives you a search option. You can search for what you've eaten, and then it tells you the number of calories, and so tracks the number of calories. You can set goals. Say you want to lose, 30 pounds over 6 months or what have you. And so then it'll give you a target total calorie per day count to try and hit. And so then after you've entered in what you've eaten, you can also enter in any exercises you've done. They seem to have a pretty robust database, both for food and calorie type or exercise types. And so it becomes a pretty nice and accurate way for tracking stuff like that, and just really kind of loading you up with guilt as you're cheating your diet.
Good stuff. Any other apps you want to mention?
One of the other things that I was using in conjunction with mine is a website I found called skinnyr.com. It's KINNYR, where you can record your weights in there, and it'll draw a little graph which you can put in a blog or on any websites. And it also integrates with the scale called eScale from Body Trace, where you stand on it and it automatically sends your weight into the website.
Good stuff.
That's like the Y Thing scale they sell at the Apple Store that tweets your weight for more guilt trips later on.
All your friends didn't get onto you.
Any other apps, Casey, you want to talk about?
The other day I found this one, which apparently has been on the App Store for a little bit, and I guess I'm just a little behind. It's called Action Movie. It's actually by J.J. Abrams,
cool.
Where you can, using your iPhone, record little short videos and then actually edit them with J.J. Abrams type special effects. You've got the very
lens flare.
Yeah, right. Lens flare, very important.
From Star Trek.
Does it like a heat-seeking missile or something? Or is that
missiles, explosions, you drop cars on stuff. And they're really, really nice-looking effects that just kind of overlay on whatever video you take, and then you can upload that to YouTube or, your choice of social media sites.
Sweet. What about Voxer? Do you like Voxer?
I do. Somebody just recommended that to me the other day. It's a nice little, walkie-talkie app, which you can also enter in, traditional text and pictures.
Definitely.
And you kind of chat. You hold down the button on the interface and chat. And if the person isn't on Voxer at the moment, it'll kind of send a little pre-recorded voicemail in a sense for them to view whenever they do get on. But I think, it sounds kind of redundant having this on a phone. I agree. But I think where this really becomes helpful is if you're on an iPod Touch or an iPad and you don't have the cell chip in.
But I think this app will save people a lot of money. You can just send them a quick message and it's done. But
couple this with iMessage, you can kind of pretty much scale your minutes and texting plans down to almost nothing and pay a much smaller phone bill.
Definitely. What about you, Steve? What do you reckon of the app? You've been using the app a little bit, have you, mate? You use it for
I tried to bring it up because I was going to show it, but you couldn't see the splash screen on it, so I didn't show it. But because I logged in with using Facebook, but I didn't actually use it yet. I guess you can send VoIP through wireless. Or...
Well, you actually you are logged in, Steve, because you sent me a message the other day, mate, on the app.
Am I still logged in?
Yeah, you are.
Maybe it was an accident.
Yeah, you are logged in. Also, I've been checking an app called Radio, RDIO. Have you heard of that?
RDO, yep. Yeah, it was made by the Skype guys.
That came out yesterday here in Australia. I'm loving that, and I'm paying the actual money for that fee for the music. You can listen to any music.
Better than even what's that other app?
Spotify. Casey, you know what it is, don't you?
Spotify.
What is it? What is that app? Tell us about it.
So that one just came into the U.S. I think middle of this year. It's been in Europe for quite a while, and it's much like RDO. I Love Radio. It's a subscription music service. You can either do it for free and just sign up for an account for free, but you only have access to the web interface. They also have an iPhone app, and if you pay for the premium service, which ends up being $10 a month. You can have access to their services through your iPhone over 3G. Okay. So then I use it a lot in my car. I actually have taken off pretty much all the music from iTunes off my phone and freed up some space. And I just primarily for music use Spotify on my phone and hook that up to my car. And wherever I am, I have access to a huge music library. I haven't come across anything that I can't find in their library and Spotify, and then you just kind of collate and make your own playlists for this, and then whatever you are doing it on, either your phone or the web interface on your computer, that'll automatically sync. So if you're on your computer and you search for an artist, make a playlist and what have you, close out, grab your stuff and leave, open it up on your phone, and it's already right there. You don't have to plug it in or tell it to sync or send to my phone or anything. It's
definitely
all cloud-based, very nice and smooth.
I think this other thing launched yesterday, Audio, which is very good than Spotify over here in Australia. What do you reckon, Aaron? Have you seen it, mate?
I've seen the news about it. I've been meaning to sign up to it, but I just hadn't done it yet. But it's funny how, in Australia, RDO is competing with JB Hi-Fi's offering.
Yes,
it's called JB Hi-Fi Now.
Yep.
And JB Hi-Fi Now is just garbage.
Yeah, it is. It's just shit. I don't use it.
It is only web-based, and it's basically ripped off the Zune Windows app. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's got album titles all sort of in random sizes all over the screen. They've just ripped that off. And trying to click through categories and actually find anything that you'd randomly like, as opposed to having to search for stuff, is really horrible. And it's only web-based. There's no mobile app.
No, exactly.
And Casey, you're just the standard example of the success of this stuff, where if you put it on a mobile phone, people use it. It's nice to have as a web streaming feature, while you're at work or something. But really, people mostly listen to music in their cars and that sort of stuff. So it's without a mobile app, JB Hi-Fi Now is doomed. And now that audio's come out straight afterwards with mobile apps on every type of phone, it'll just blitz it out of the water. So I think it'll do well here.
Well, I'm paying. I'm going to pay the $12, whatever it is, for each month, because you can actually save the music onto your phone and stuff and listen to it and sync it.
Yeah, I saw this week that Groove Shark is getting sued by everybody.
Oh, yeah, they are. That will close down very quick.
They haven't paid anyone money for all the music that have been streaming out, and so all the big labels are suing the hell out of it now.
You're breaking up really bad, Jason. Your audio is really bad, mate.
Might be a Wi-Fi problem.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah.
So that came out yesterday in Australia. That's pretty good. I've been using that app for the past 24 hours. That's a great app to use, and on the iPad and stuff, and you can do AirPlay and stuff and that sort of thing. It's really cool. So, check out that. Also, the G Plus app got an update last week. You can do Hangouts from your phone now in Messenger.
Brilliant idea.
Which is pretty
Brilliant
cool.
idea.
And have you heard about that Aaron?
Yeah, I'm the one who told you about it. I posted on Twitter and you retweeted it.
No, I didn't hear it from you. I heard it. I just checked my phone.
Oh.
I did not. Yeah,
I remember you retweeting it earlier in the week. Oh. But look, that's exactly what Google Plus needed to do, and they're getting pretty aggressive, aren't they? About being a top social network, and then of course there was the news about Google Plus being integrated into Google Search, which has been ruffling a few feathers. Twitter are pretty peed off about it.
Yep.
But look, they're doing what they need to do, and I think Hangouts is definitely the best feature of Google Plus. And really, it makes FaceTime look like garbage, doesn't it? Because one-to-one video chat, there's no incentive to want to do that, because most people either there's that, but I think also the main thing is with mobile devices, people talk on the phone because they hold something near their ear and they can talk properly, whereas with video you're holding something in front of you and you go, wait, what, sorry, what'd you say? You can't really hear well. But in group video setting, then there's an incentive to want to do that. You know what I mean? Because like you're getting something that you wouldn't get, and the Hangouts are brilliant. How Google Plus automatically flicks the video to whoever's actually talking at the time. They automatically do those cutaways, so it makes a video call feel natural. And so doing that on a phone, like you would actually be bothered to want to do that as opposed to a FaceTime. You know, so I like it. I think it's a great feature.
Good stuff. What about Tango? I used Tango the other day. I gave someone a tour around Melbourne with Tango. That's a great app. That brings that great video quality.
Is that a Windows Phone app?
Tango is on the iPhone and also on the Windows Phone too, yeah. Yeah,
right, yeah. I haven't used that one.
Tango's great. You check it out. I was actually using it with Jacob the other day on the tram. It was quite fun.
I will.
It's quite fun. You too, Jason. Check it out, mate.
Cool.
All right, anything else before we go? Steve?
I just had one quick thing to mention. I think the most underrated thing that came out of CES this year was the Intel mobile CPU. So there was an announcement that Lenovo are going to start using it in their phones. Intel have signed into an agreement with Motorola. Motorola are going to bring out lots and lots of devices with Intel CPUs in their phones and tablets and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And I think the most underrated thing about that is the fact that, number one, Motorola is owned by Google. So, that's basically Intel buddying up with Google. And when you look at the actual specs of the Intel CPU, this is their first ever mobile CPU that they brought out. It's already better at JavaScript execution times. It's about the same as ARM with multimedia execution, and it's almost as good as ARM in terms of power consumption and all that. And so when you look at that, number one, if it's better at doing JavaScript, then you can see what's going to happen next. Sometime this year, we should be finding out that Android will support HTML5 and JavaScript as native languages for apps on Android, which would be massive. And really the future, like Google want web-based development to be the future of the mobile phone experience. So I think
is where Apple started off.
Exactly.
I know, it's kind of
the iPhone. You must have web apps. Oh, we hate web apps. Yeah. All right, you can have natural apps. No, we want web apps now.
Yeah. So that's where it's headed. And if Intel are supporting that well, then it'll take off. And I'm willing to predict that in 2 years' time, Intel CPUs will be the predominant CPUs in all Android phones, not ARM CPUs. So there you go. I was reading an article the other day. I won't go into it, but basically, once Intel gets down to a 14 nanometer process for making our CPUs, like they will use they'll be so low powered and high power. Well, they'll use very, very little battery and be high powered in performance. I think ARM will struggle to compete with them. So that will open things up considerably for Android. And then, of course, we'll probably see native Windows within 2 years on mobile phones as well because of this.
Yeah,
so that's
about, Apple using fuel cell.
What do I think about it? Yeah. I think it's inevitable because you'll go like weeks at a time without charging your phone. And Bill Gates personally invested a couple of $100 million in buying fuel cell plants to make the liquid that goes into those batteries and stuff. It's the future. It's just that it's got a long ways to go because, like, where do you go to top up your phone right now? If you use fuel cell, that's maybe
fill up the car, chuck a couple drops into
exactly.
You'll be going to the coffee shop and saying, "I'll have a latte and a top up for my phone as well. We both need a recharging this morning." So that needs to happen first, but it's inevitable, and Bill Gates will personally profit from that quite a lot. Thanks to Apple. How ironic.
That's good. Thanks, Aaron, for your input, mate. And this has been episode 70. Steve, what's your last words before we go, mate? What do you want to say?
Interestingly enough, I haven't exercised in 4 years, so maybe I need to get some of those apps for me.
Yeah, you better.
You've been writing them down, right?
And Steve, I recommend you get a new TV too, mate.
Okay.
Got
those CRTs, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
Jesus
great.
Christ.
And Kacey, what are your thoughts on the show, mate? You enjoyed being on here?
Yeah, this is a fun show. Thanks to you guys for letting me come on and everything.
You'll be back next week, I hope.
We'll see.
Not too bad.
All right, we'll be back next week.
Small doses, we're all right, right?
Yeah, we're all right. Yeah, that's it. All right, so where can they find you on Twitter, Kacey?
My Twitter handle is Kacey Queso, much like my Justin TV handle, just 1 O instead of 3. I'm on Facebook, and Google Plus is Kacey Coughlin.
Sweet. Jason?
Warlock, WAULOK on Twitter, Bluebilby Apps on Twitter, and bluebilby.com.
Okay, and me, I'm Brad Oz and Tech Webcast on Twitter. And Steve?
Of course, on Justin TV, or .tv/NoticeCoolDude, the show that we're doing right now. Cool. And Twitter is Chatterbox_live.
And Aaron, where can they get you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter at OzTechNews, OZTechNews, and look out soon for a new portal I'll be launching called OzNews.tv.
Wow,
exciting news for the year.
A new TV channel.
It's not a TV channel, it's just the .tv domain. But yeah, it's going to...
wow. Gonna have video.
We got multiple blogs as part of our Oz News network, and we're bringing them all together under a portal called Oz News TV.
That website's is going big, mate.
Yeah, it has been going well.
It's going well.
Yeah. So we'll see how we go this year. It's going to be interesting times. We've got 10 writers now.
Oh, well, good on you, mate. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you. All right, well, this has been episode 170. Thanks, Steve, Kacey, Jason, and Aaron, and everyone else.
Thank you.
See
you next week.
And here's a message from Kelly Lewis.
Oh, this
awesome.
is Kelly Lewis for the Chatterbox Live Show. See me every week. Oh, I got cut off.
That was Clingham Aussie Tech Heads.
I've never heard her so
Eric
speechless.
and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30pm or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest-running tech news podcast.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out Tech Webcast on blip.tv and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes to make sure you always have the latest episode at your fingertips. Tech Webcast, Tech Talk for Geeks.